If you opened your bank account right now and saw your balance, would you feel proud or panic? 78% of people live paycheck to paycheck, but there's a 120-year-old Japanese method that makes building wealth feel effortless. No apps, no spreadsheets, just a pen, a notebook, and ancient wisdom that the modern world forgot. This is Kakeibo, and by the end of this video, you'll understand why Japanese households save 30% more than Western ones without even trying. Before we dive in, if you're someone who's tired of financial stress and ready to take control of your money with a system that actually works, hit that like button right now. This is your pact with yourself, your commitment to change. Now, let me tell you a story that changed my entire perspective on money management. The year is 1904. Japan is rapidly modernizing. Western influence is flooding in. And women, for the first time in Japanese history, are being given control over household finances. But there's a problem. Most women have never been taught how to manage money. Families are struggling. The economic pressure is crushing. Enter Motoko Hani, Japan's first female journalist and an absolute visionary. She looks at this crisis and thinks, what if managing money wasn't about complex mathematics or financial expertise? What if it was about mindfulness, about awareness, about writing things down and reflecting? So she creates Kakeibo, which literally translates to household financial ledger. But it's not just a ledger. It's a psychological tool, a mirror that reflects your relationship with money. And here's the beautiful part. It worked. Families using Kakeibo started building wealth, not because they earned more, but because they became aware of where their money was actually going. 120 years later, Kakeibo is still used in millions of Japanese households. And now, you're about to learn exactly how it works. Here's a question that's going to make you uncomfortable. How much money did you spend last Tuesday? Can't remember? You're not alone. Modern budgeting apps track everything automatically. They categorize, they send notifications, they create colorful graphs. And yet, 73% of people who download budgeting apps abandon them within the first month. Why? Because automation creates disconnection. When your phone tracks your spending automatically, your brain never processes it. It's like taking photos of a vacation but never actually experiencing the vacation. Kakeibo does the opposite. It forces you to physically write every transaction. And neuroscience shows us something incredible. The act of writing by hand activates the reticular activating system in your brain, the part responsible for focus and attention. When you write $4.50 for coffee, your brain has to process that transaction 3 times. First, when you make the purchase and know you'll write it down. Second, when you physically write it. Third, when you review it at the end of the week. That's 3 moments of financial awareness. 3 chances for your subconscious to say, wait, do I really need another coffee tomorrow? This is why Kakeibo works without trying. It's not about restriction. It's about awareness, and awareness naturally leads to better decisions. All right, let's get practical. Kakeibo has 4 simple steps. I'm going to walk you through each one, and I want you to imagine yourself doing this, because you can start tonight. At the beginning of each month, you sit down with your Kakeibo and answer 4 questions. 1. How much money do I have available this month? 2. How much would I like to accumulate this month? 3. How much am I spending this month? 4. What can I do to improve my financial situation? Notice what's happening here. These aren't automatic calculations. This is intentional thinking. You're setting a goal. You're making a plan. You're taking ownership. And here's the psychological trigger. When you write, I want to accumulate $300 this month, your brain treats it like a promise to yourself, not a restriction imposed by an app. A promise. Every expense you have fits into one of 4 categories, and this is where Kakeibo gets genius. Category 1 is survival. Rent, groceries, utilities, transportation. The non-negotiables, the things you need to live. Category 2 is optional. Dining out, entertainment, hobbies, subscriptions. things that improve your life but aren't essential. Category 3 is culture. Books, museums, courses, concerts, things that enrich your mind and soul. Category 4 is unexpected. Medical expenses, repairs, gifts, emergencies, the things you can't predict. Now here's why this matters. Most people just see money going out. They don't distinguish between a grocery bill and a streaming subscription they forgot they had. But when you categorize, patterns emerge. You might discover you're spending $200 a month on optional expenses you don't even enjoy. Or that your culture spending is zero, meaning you're surviving, not growing. This awareness doesn't require willpower. It requires visibility. And once you see the pattern, your brain naturally starts optimizing. Every evening, just 5 minutes, you write down everything you spent that day. $3.20 for morning coffee, optional. $45 for groceries, survival. $15.99 for a book, culture. And here's the magic. Because you know you're going to write it down at night, you start making different choices during the day. That impulse purchase at lunch? You pause. Not because you can't afford it, but because you know you'll have to write it down. And somehow, that tiny moment of accountability changes everything. This is the without trying part. The system creates natural friction at the moment of purchase. Not guilt, not shame, just awareness. Every Sunday, you review your week. You look at the 4 categories. You notice patterns. I spent $60 on optional this week, but I can't remember what I bought. I spent nothing on culture. No wonder I feel mentally stuck. At the end of the month, you answer 4 more questions. 1. Did I meet my accumulation goal? 2. What went well this month? 3. What could I improve? 4. What will I do differently next month? This isn't judgment, it's iteration. You're not failing or succeeding. You're learning. You're calibrating. You're becoming more aligned with your financial goals, not through force, but through reflection. Let's talk about why Kakeibo is psychologically superior to every modern budgeting method. Reason 1, delayed gratification training. Every time you pause before a purchase because you'll write it down later, you're strengthening your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for long-term thinking. You're literally rewiring yourself for better financial decisions. Reason 2, the Hawthorne effect. In psychology, there's a principle. People change their behavior when they know they're being observed. By writing down your spending, you become the observer of your own life, and you naturally start acting more intentionally. Reason 3, intrinsic motivation. Apps use external pressure, notifications, alerts, warnings. Kakeibo uses internal reflection. You're not being scolded by technology. You're having a conversation with yourself. And that creates sustainable change. Reason 4, the completion principle. When you physically close your Kakeibo at the end of the month and see your progress, your brain releases dopamine. You feel accomplished. Apps show you graphs. Kakeibo shows you your own handwriting, your own journey, and that creates emotional connection to your financial growth. You don't need anything fancy. A basic notebook, a pen, that's it. Step 1. Tonight, write today's date and answer the 4 monthly questions. Even if we're mid-month, start now. Step 2. Write down everything you spent today, every single transaction. Don't judge it, just write it. Step 3. Tomorrow evening, do it again, and the next day, and the next. Step 4. Review your week. Notice patterns. No pressure, just observe. Step 5. At the end of this month, answer the 4 review questions. Adjust for next month. That's it. No app subscription, no complicated formulas. Just you, your money, and awareness. Now, I want to ask you something, and I want you to be brutally honest in the comments. If you looked at your bank statement right now, would you be shocked by where your money went? Yes or no? Answer below. Let's see how many of us are actually aware of our spending. This is gonna be interesting. 日本にはもったいないというコンセプトがあります。
センスのリグレット、オーバーウェイスト、not guilt, not shame, just awareness that something valuable was lost. When you use Kakeibo, you start feeling もったいない about money. Not because money is everything, but because money represents time, energy, possibilities.
And when you're aware of where your money goes, you're actually aware of where your life goes. This isn't about restriction. It's about intention. It's about building wealth not by earning more, but by honoring what you already have. If this video changed how you think about money management, subscribe to this channel. We dive deep into financial psychology, historical money wisdom, and practical systems that actually work. Start your Kakeibo tonight. Write down today's spending, and in 30 days, come back and tell me how much you've accumulated without even trying. Thanks for watching. Your future self is already thanking you.